Yo folks, Toby here. I know, I promised this video as a 1000 subscriber special, and my sincerest apologies for taking so long to deliver it. Oh, and if you came here just for the drops and have no idea what I'm talking about, feel free to skip this introduction. You can find the timestamps in the description and jump straight to the drops. Or you could check out the link above for the trailer that came before this video. People told me I managed to create something fairly epic. Perhaps you'll enjoy it as well. With that said, I'll still ramble for a minute or two before going into the drops, as there's a couple of things I wanted to say. And it actually for once has nothing to do with my constant need to bump up the view time on my videos and shit. First of all, it took me over 3 months to complete these runs, so I feel kind of deserving to ramble for a couple of minutes before showing the good stuff. The amount of total gameplay was somewhere around 17 hours, which may not sound like a lot, but I spent a shit ton of time editing videos, gathering footage for other videos, as well as streaming, so my gaming time is really limited. I literally had to start waking up 30 minutes earlier each morning just to put some runs in every day, or else I wouldn't have finished making these runs in a year. Now, if that's not dedication to you loyal subs, then I don't know what is. How come I don't see any from you guys? Huh? The other important thing I wanted to mention is the fact that I sort of may have lied about a couple of things in that trailer video. Unexpected, eh? So here's my first lie. I actually didn't drop a GG rune here, it probably was something like an Ort, and then the circlet wasn't any good either. I'm not even sure where I found footage of this. Truth is, at the time I was making that trailer video, I had only done like 200 runs, and out of them barely anything dropped, so I had to improvise with the little footage I had. Sorry. The last technically, although not really a lie I made, and it's probably the bigger one, I actually didn't do 1000 runs.
What's that ominous glow in the distance?
Chill down, let me explain. You see, I did it for your own good, trust me. Here's the deal, I made these runs with a single barbarian. That means I had access to fine item skill, which increased my drops by over 50%, 55% to be exact. Since the vast majority of players usually farm with a sorceress, and also having in mind how singers and pit zerkers are crazy expensive to make, in terms of drops, the 650 runs I did are equal to 1000 runs with a sorceress. Don't worry, Glenn approved my math. And those 650 runs are still even more than that, because I was always running over 500% magic find, while having over 700 on switch. Good luck having that much on the sorceress while maintaining a decent clear speed. Don't forget, archers do spawn in pits, so if you gear up for only magic finding, you'll die so often you'll quit this game before you complete your first 100 runs. So yeah, I didn't do 1000 runs, not because I was lazy, of course I was lazy, but because I wanted this video to be more relatable to you guys. No need to thank me, I'm the nice guy over here, you're welcome. Anyway, I ended up getting quite a few goodies. The most notable one you've probably already seen since the Brunsky went batshit crazy about it, but needless to say you'll get to experience it all over again. So without further ado, let's roll the intro and check out the drops. So the first 100 runs were as dry as my wife when she sees me playing Diablo to make these videos. Right, so I got my hands on the first decent item 20 runs in, and Dariel's helm. Nothing too special, but a nice pickup nevertheless. Next up, a Halbert's Rain dropped 30 runs later. It's decently rare, but not too useful. Fast forward 20 runs, Mavina's armor. I probably should stop considering this item any good and video worthy, but I don't know, I somehow enjoy whenever I drop it. It's like Shaco to me or something. The next 100 runs start off with Medusa's Gaze, another rare but useless item, and is followed by a small charm in the very next run. Not the best one, but life plus attack rating is always nice. 5 runs later, a Viper Magi, a horrible one though. 127 runs in, another rare yet useless item, Demon Horde. And just a couple of runs later, I get to cross off an item off my Holy Grail list, which is a long-awaited Zakarum's Shield. Unfortunately, it rolls Ethereal. Yes, there's no better feeling than finally finding the item you've been farming for the longest time, only to find out you'll need to find it all over again if you start using it. I imagine a lot of you guys can relate to this magnificent feeling. Anyway, 15 runs later, I find another Viper Magi. Guess how this one rolls? Yep, the absolute worst possible roll on resistances. Lovely. 161 runs in, I find Crane Beak, another rare yet useless item, though it's not even that rare, it's comparable to Shaco in terms of drop odds. Next 50 runs are as dry as your wife when she sees you watching Diablo. 50 runs later, I find Duriel Shell, one of my favorite budget armors just because of high defense, bunch of resistances, and cannot be frozen mod. After this, another 50 runs of extra dryness comparable to your girlfriend. Okay, enough of these jokes, I know they're bad. So, 263 runs in, I actually find something pretty GG, and it's a belt. Arachnid Mesh. Now, 3 runs later, another decent item drops. Ariad's Face. So finally something better started dropping. And on the exactly same run, I dropped Shadow Killer. 5 runs later, a Pole drops. So far the highest rune and the only one above Lem. And 299 runs in, a Set Amulet drops. Everyone's favorite one, Tile Rashes. 340 runs in, I almost rolled an insane item. A rare Assassin Claw. Unfortunately it lacked +3 to Lightning Sentry mod to be a godly one. That was just okay with 2 assassin skills, increased attack speed, and some resistances. 20 runs later, I found another rare but useless item, Demon's Arch. And 3 runs later, Triangle's Shield. The very next run, a Crane Beak drops. And at this point, I'm way past the halfway point, and there's been a few useful drops like Telrash's Amulet, but the only truly GG and hard to find item has been Zakarum's Shield and perhaps Arachnid Mesh. So the experience so far has been pretty meh, but at this point, everything changes. This is where I start dropping the good stuff. So 377 runs in, one of the best items during these runs drop, and it's a Death's Phantom. Now that is GG. Now that is hard to find. But of course it rolls like crap. Feels like getting that ethereal Zakarum shield. Not too pleasant. But hey, at least I get to cross off another item of my Holy Grail. Anyway, let's get back to the drops, and on the very next run I drop another Medusa's Gaze. 10 runs later, another hard to find shield and another item off my Holy Grail list, and it's a Set Ward. Tiabex one. Tiabex? T-Bex? I don't know how to pronounce that, feel free to correct me in the comments. 400 runs in, Marowak's drop. Then 5 runs later, a unique Dusk Shroud. Unfortunately, it's not only ethereal, but also rolls horribly. So yeah, both Viper Magi's were close to worst possible, Zakarum was ethereal, Death's Phantom rolled horribly, Ormus is both ethereal and horribly rolled. This stuff is getting better and better, eh? Anyway, 3 runs later, a Poison Facet, also almost worst possible roll, but it's a Poison Facet, so who cares? 436 runs in, Devilkin drops a Shaft Stop, although not the rarest, but a fairly useful item for budget characters with the 30% damage reduction. 20 runs later, a decentish piece of rare gloves drop, 220 for Javazon, unfortunately no additional mods. And then on the very same run, a Shadow Killer drops as well. Alright, so 3 runs later, the drop that some of you might have been waiting for finally appears. And I'll just roll the footage from the trailer video.
And all the Discord members. But you know what? You may have everything, but have you got this?
What the fuck am I doing with my life? Just to be clear, guys, once and for all, the Dobrunsky video was a joke. I love that guy, and if you're watching this Dobrunsky, here's some kisses to you. Mwah, 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 mwah. Anyhow, the minus 20 lightning resistances griffins, now that is sexy. It might not make my wife wet, but it sure as hell made me. Too bad the plus lightning rolled not low, but usually on griffins you only care about minus lightning resistances and not about the defense or plus the lightning damage. So a perfect minus 20, I'll take that any day of the week. It was also nice to finally get a decent roll on an item I actually needed, unlike Fathom or Zack. Anyhow, 500 runs in, it's Ondals. And then 4 runs later, a unique giant fresher drops. Stormspire, which is actually another item of my Holy Grail. Only 6 runs later, I found another pretty hard to find item, which is Rune Master. Although it once again rolled like garbage. The very next run, I drop another Mavina's armor. And then the next run, I drop another GG item, which is Arachnid Mesh. So it's already a second one during these runs, and you know, in hardcore it's an item you use on so many classes that you can't really have too many of anyway. So pretty happy with the find. Next up, 20 runs later, is another Ondals. And then only 2 runs later, one of the rarest items in the game drops, which is Boneflame. It also rolls above average with the maximum plus 3 Necromancer skills and 24 out of 20 to 30 possible resistances. It still seems fairly useless compared to other items, but hey, it's another item off my Holy Grail list. 10 runs later, one of the best helmets for druids drop, which is Jalal's Mane. It also looks really pretty. 3 runs later, a dope ring drops, faster cast rate, and a nice bunch of resistances. I actually found it funny how all resistances rolled separately and on such high sides. Too bad it doesn't have Magic Find or Dexterity Strand for life, but still, that's a lot of resistances in one place. 6 runs later, Thunderstroke. Actually a nice roll, perfect 4 to Javelin and 13% off perfect in increased damage. I still prefer Titans, but I do appreciate a nice roll. 5 runs later, one of the better drops throughout these runs happens, which is a much needed arm rune. I later on used it for Call to Arms, rolled 5 to Battle Orders, which is always nice. After 3 more runs, another piece of Telrasha set drops, which is the weapon. It rolled like a godly garbage. Absolute not low. Wow, just wow. Anyhow, another 3 runs later, Dracul's drop. It's always nice to have duplicates of it just because of how dangerous running Ubers is. And then another 4 runs later, a unique ring drops. Of course it wasn't the first unique piece of jewelry, but I skipped all the horrible ones, so this time it was Nature's Piece. Not the best roll, but definitely bringing back the memories of running Nilafab with my now dead hardcore sorceress. Those were the times. Anyhow, at this point it seems like I was going on a hot streak or something, dropping items left and right every couple of runs. To top it off, 6 runs later I dropped my first ever unique Spired Helm. I had found like 10 set Spired Helms by now, but it was actually my first unique one. And of course it's Veil of Steel. Guess you can't keep on running hot forever. However, just 10 runs later I dropped another goodie, so the hot streak continues. And it's my second Herald of Zekrom. And it's not even Ethereal this time. Haha, take that, you... I'm just talking to myself, aren't I? Well, whatever, 2 runs later, just so it happens that I drop another Spired Helm. Of course it's set, so still no Nightwing for me. The hot streak seriously continues as once again, less than 10 runs later, I drop a Poison Facet. Also my second one during these runs, and this one rolls a lot better. 615 runs, a Small Charm drops, 19 life and 26 defense. Not the best, but pretty nice nevertheless. So 630 runs in, approaching the end of the runs, but the hot streak seriously continues as I cross off another item off my Holy Grail list. This time it's the set amulet and the last set amulet I needed, Telling of Beads. It's useless, but it's always nice to cross off items off your Holy Grail list. Now 5 runs later, Bone Hue drops, which isn't even that rare, but it's like Mavina's armor to me. It holds some sort of sentimental value. Probably because when I was a complete noob at this game, I thought this was the best possible weapon for mercenaries. Oh boy was I wrong. Anyhow, 5 runs later, so 640 runs in, the last really GG item of these runs dropped, and it's also another item of my Holy Grail, a unique Balrog skin, which is Arcane's Valor, and it also rolls +2 skills. Other than that, 2 runs later I drop a decentish large charm, bunch of life and some fire resistances, and that's it. That's all I dropped during these 650 runs. So a quick recap of the best items I dropped. -20 lightning resistances Griffins, shitty Depths Phantom, 2 Herald of Zacharums, an Omrune, 2 Arachnid Mesh, and a bunch of pretty hard to find yet not so useful items like Bone Flame, Storm Spire, Arcane Valor, Demon Horn, Medusa's Gaze. Overall, the hot streak towards the end of the runs really saved the day, so with that I crossed off a bunch of items off my Holy Grail list, and currently I'm down to only 26 items more to complete it. Unfortunately, some of them are the hardest to find, items like Mangsong's, Depth's Web, and of course Tyrell's Mine, so it will probably still take me a year or so to complete the Holy Grail. Anyhow, that's it for the video, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. Needless to say that if you did, you should totally check out my Patreon, cause, you know, I like monies. And also because my wife gets crazy dry when I'm making these videos, so perhaps handing her a couple of bucks would solve the problem. Usually a pack of chips keeps her silent and happy for a couple of hours, so assuming a pack of chips costs $1, a patronage of 10 bucks per month would provide me with like 10 hours of extra time to make these videos. I think it's a pretty sweet deal, but hey, it's up to you. Anyhow, thanks for watching, folks, wish y'all a lovely day, and see you guys in my next video, or weekly Saturday stream, whichever. Cheers! Hey, this sounds just like you smashing that subscribe button after seeing this video.